Everybody, it's hello everybody, it's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Today I am recording from the Forgotten account. I am going to be redoing my gear. So I will also do one for the Big Al account so that people with the more amounts of gear can see how I do it. I'm going to explain a few things while I am doing this. So first off, I went through and I took all the equipment off of all the purple and gold equipment off of all of my commanders, except for Aragon. He's not getting touched at all because I've already looked at seeing what I wanted to do. So, a couple things when doing gear. Okay, as you see, like I have this gold item here, and it's 2 stars. The easiest way to see what is inside of something is right under the name where it says Palantir on the ability. Click that, okay? And then go to the Materials tab, and you can see what items are inside of it. That way, if you ever want to use a hammer to get items out of it to use for your formation. So, here we are, okay? And this is the gold gear that I have, that I'm working with on this account. And again, this is 3rd season, maybe 4th season, I'm not sure. So, as you can see, I have 14 hammers here and 5 hammers here. But this hammer is a seasonal hammer. It is the one that you buy from the Merit store every week, that refreshes every week, and you can get one a week. So if things have the blue icon up here in the corner, that means those items will disappear at the end of the season when you go into Bag End. So these hammers I want to use before I go into Bag End. So first off, I already wrote down the things that I want to hammer down. And one thing about gold gear that is kind of annoying that I forgot to do to prep is they will have the locked icon on so that oh, that one's equipped, so that you can't break it down without a warning. Okay, so let me go out of here so it refreshes the screen. So first thing I want to do is I want to break down the Lang. And the reason is I have 2 blazing tongues in there, and I used them to strengthen it on purpose because I wasn't going to be using that as much. So I'm going to break that down. Now all 4 items will be in my inventory. I am going to break down the Dawn that Gandalf uses. And I'm not going to be using the pieces. I'm going to be using the Dawn again, but I want that bow of the High Elf to strengthen another piece. And another thing is, these are the seasonal elven hammers that I'm going to be using. The Silver Harp I'm going to do. Would I be doing the Silver Harp if it was one of my permanent elven hammers? No. And then I'm also going to do the Drums of Moria with Fortitude, because I want to change gear effects on something. So now that I've broken down everything and got it all in my inventory, this is where you're going to go into your commanders. So my main commanders are Aragorn, Boromir, Gandalf, Frodo. And then I also have Dwalin as well as an alternate in there as well. It depends on what part of the stage. So first things first, I am going to put the items that I want on my heroes, my commanders. So I am actually going to put that on this season. He's going to keep that, and what he is getting a Drums of Barad-dûr with Divide and Conquer. And the reason I'm doing this is because I am making the gear set, but I'm only making the gear set effect because it is the right item for him. Before I had the Silver Harp on him, but I can get the gear effect set with the Drums of Moria. I can refine it, and I can strengthen it to be better than the harp, because I can only strengthen the harp one time. So with Gandalf, we are going to go ahead and put the Dawn back on. And I have 3 different side effects to choose from, but none of them are going to help me. Then I'm going to put the Bone Mask back on him. I'm going to put the Hunter Skin back on him. And then here, okay, here I can do, I want the Night Star on him. I can either do Divide and Conquer or War Cry. So let me check the Dawn. I don't have the War Cry. Okay, no big deal. So I'm going to use the Divide and Conquer, because if I could get a Dawn Divide and Conquer, I'd rather have that than the War Cry. So I did Frodo, I did Gandalf, now I am doing Boromir. Boromir is not going to be getting any changes. I'm just going to have to rebuild the drum that he had on. I believe he had the evasive one. He had that, and then he's going to have a drum with fortitude. And again, it's the right item, so I'm making it a gear effect. So I got these 3, and those are the 3 that I'm going to focus on first. Okay. Now you want to do this in steps. First things first, I'm going to work on things that need to be refined. So I know the Dawn I have 2, so I'm going to go ahead and refine that to give me more command. And I like command on Gandalf because it increases his damage output, which isn't as important with him. It's going to increase his healing output, and it's also going to do damage reduction. So with that being said, if you don't know what command does, go into your commanders menu and then click on command, and it will give you a breakdown of what it does. Same thing with any of the other ones, the commander attack, the defense, the focus. Okay, so if you ever have questions, try reading and seeing what actually that does for you. So the Night Star is another one. I want to refine that because I want more command on him. And this is the way that I choose to run my Gandalf the Grey. A lot of people will run just the most focus they can get on him to help his White Council, which I have items that give Commander focus to help the White Council, but I also want that command because I don't have all of the equipment to get just the maximum amount of focus on him. So let's see, is there anything in here that needs to be refined? No, I don't have another Lang or Elf helmet. I do have to rebuild the drums on both of these guys. So because Frodo is my main tank, I am going to work on his first. Okay, one thing I recommend is always use the purple siege gear first to refine. You want to keep blue and green gear that has siege gear for your siege commanders. Not the purple. Use the purple to strengthen your armies. Then the other thing I will do is, I got 2 with the agility set, so I'm going to use that one to refine. And to refine, it's 1 item, 2 items, 2 items, and then 3 items. So let's see. I have 2 with with Arcane. I'm going to use that. One of those. I'm going to use one of the mites. So let's do it one more time. I got 2 mites, and I have 2 sharp blades. Now I'm going to save the rest for Boromir. And when you're refining things, the priority in refining is items that give command and items that give commander damage. Hit points aren't as important. They are important, especially later on in the game, but they're not as important as command or commander damage. So I know this item I won't use on a damage dealing commander, so Lord of Arcane is no use to me. I'm not a big fan of Warcry. Excuse me. Only in certain circumstances. And then the agility could be helpful at some point. And then, so I'm going to use the sharp blade and the flay to make the final refinement. Okay, so we put the items onto the commanders. We did the refining. Now I'm going to go back into my item menu and take a look. Let's see, do I have any more gold gear? Yes. Now here is the thing, okay? I have these 4 blazing tongues, and I'm going to get another one at the season end. So you're going to use that item on a damage dealer, because if you see under the name Blazing Tongue, it has commander damage, and that is a very important stat for damage dealers. So my damage dealer in my main formation is Aragon. So I'm going to go to Aragon. Okay, so let's see. Can I make a set effect? With what I have currently, no. But let's check this, because I do have one extra Elven Hammer. Let's see what's inside here. So that's another evasive. Do I have... I have one with Warcry. I'm looking to see what other effects. So with the scale mail, I would need either evasive, Warcry, Lord of Arcane Might, or Perseverance. So out of all of those, the only one that I can match the set with is the Perseverance. Some people like the skill. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's most useful like on Bjorn, because the damage dealt stacks, and Bjorn's going to do more damage in the later rounds than he does in the early rounds. But I do want to have the set because it's better than not having the set, and it doesn't cost me anything to switch it over, because again, I'm using the seasonal hammers that I'm going to lose in 2 days. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to refine. Actually, let me check one thing really quick. Nope, okay. I am going to refine. Yes, I want to refine. And then another thing is I'm going to get another Blazing Tongue at the end of the season. So this is going to turn out to be a good damage weapon. And depending on the set effect I get when I buy the Refining Tongue at the store at the end of the season, I might be able to change that to something else, the set effect to something else. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here. I have a Matic and a high elf bow. So now I have to figure out which items I'm going to strengthen. Okay. Gandalf I'm not too worried about, because he's got a bit of a command and he's got the White Council. But I need to do damage and I need protection, which Frodo's my tank. So I'm actually going to strengthen each of these one time. Another thing is, when you're strengthening items, I will demonstrate this with the drums in a minute. You want to strengthen them with the same item. That way, if you ever have to pull it out again, use a hammer on it, you are getting all of them in the same place. Okay, now let's check the gold items for the helmets. I have one extra helmet here, the Iron Bassinet, which I am going to be honest, is probably the worst helmet in the game. Yes, I said that. The worst helmet in the game. The commander defense doesn't do much for you in the grand scheme of things. The command is helpful, but there's so many other items that give you command and unit defense. So Aragon and Frodo, as you see up in the top left corner, both have a gold helmet. Well, Aragon's is going to take 2 to strengthen it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to strengthen this. And another reason why I'm not just keeping it there to strengthen Aragon's later is because I believe it is very important every week to buy one of those elven hammers from the Merit store. So after every season, I pretty much go through my gear and redo it. So that's all the gold items there. Let's see. Do I have any others golds in the armor? No. Okay. Now let's check this. I have a silver harp. That is a very good item, but it's siege ladder, and I don't like that. And I can get the drums of Moria with more command and more unit defense than I will with the harp on my Frodo. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Gandalf, and I am going to strengthen. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to go to Frodo first, and we are going to strengthen his drums of Moria. Now, what I mean by putting all the things in the same place, I'm going to use the harps for this, for example. But this is more so for gold gear. Because I am strengthening this, I am going to use the harp. And I'm going to, oh, sorry. And I'm going to keep using the harps. The reason being, like I said, if I ever need a harp, oh, look, all I have to do is Elven Hammer one item to get them back. Okay. So Frodo's done. I changed him a little bit from last season, and I have the old ones as well to show you. I'm done with Gandalf. Boromir, I still need to strengthen the drum, and Aragon, I will have to Elven Hammer a scale mail. Thank you. Sorry for that. To put this in. And then I will strengthen, and I will probably refine that just one time because I'm not as worried about the hit points. So we're going to go to strengthening Boromir. And you generally want to use the items that you're not going to use. I will never use the Shield of the White Hand. So next, I have a couple choices. So I'm using the drums, I'm using a bone talisman, and I'm using a fiddle. And the bone talisman and the fiddle are both already strengthened and refined. So I am going to go with the rope because I don't use the rope, and I am going to use the worn out pipes. Okay, so let's take a look at what I did with my main formation. I'm going to make this easier for us. Okay, so my old formation, let's go one by one. Frodo. As you can see, he had the Lang, he had a horseman's helm, he had the hawbuck, and he had that. So a couple things I'm going to write down is Frodo had 253 command before. And then I could also add up the defense, but I'm not going to at this point. And he only had the fortitude set. So now let's go into the new Frodo. With the new Frodo, he got 4 more command. And I believe he got an extra 10 unit defense, I think it is, when I figured it out. And then I'm also getting the Divide and Conquer gear set as well. Plus, I'm getting a little bit of initiative. Early game initiative isn't as important as it is in the later games when you have many seasons, when you're fighting a lot of whales and krakens. So, but for now, we make the most out of what we got. Right, guys? Okay, so now I'm going to go to Boromir. This is the new one. Okay, he has 324 command, and he had an extra 46. No, because some of that's from the troops. So he's got 2 stars on everything as we sit. 324. I think he had more command before, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, he had 338 command before because I had a couple extra refrains on the drums of Moria. But he is the support, Frodo's the tank. I want more on Frodo, which Frodo will also get another refinement as well on his drums to make him have just a little higher. Okay, Gandalf. Okay, a couple things to note. He has 293 focus or command, and then he has 90 focus on the old one. Now let's go to the new one. He's got 303 command and 90 focus. So didn't really gain much from him. I just gained, the 10 command because I was refined the Night Star. I also doesn't have the extra strengthen on the Dawn because I chose to put that on Frodo. But he didn't lose anything. He gained 10 command. Now I'm going to go to Aragon. And it's a little hard to tell on this one because I haven't strengthened the scale mail. Okay. I figured I will do that off camera to save time. So on this one, he has 114 commander attack, which is down here. And his damage up here is 27 to 44, which are his important skills to take into account. And when I strengthen this, I am going to get another 10 commander attack off of it. So I'm going to put 124 for his commander attack. Plus he gained the perseverance set. Now let's go to the old Aragon. Okay, he had 123, and like I said, because of this isn't strengthened, which I will strengthen off camera. So as of the way it sits now, I gained 1 commander attack. But here, this is the important stat. His damage. He's doing 28 to 34 the old way. The new way, he has 27 to 44. I added 10 damage on the high end to him. So that's a success because that's going to give him a lot more damage output every hit. So as you see, it's kind of a balancing act of who you want to strengthen, who are you going to take from, especially when you have less gear. But as you see, I don't have that much gear on this account. So the only one that really lost anything was Boromir. He lost a little bit of command. But I'm okay with that because I gave it to Frodo, who's going to have the Swan Knights. Oh, on the new one. He's going to have the Swan Knights, which are going to take damage from the first 3 rounds of battle because they protect 2 allied formations. So, a little bit more command, a couple command, and a divide and conquer gear set with initiative for Frodo. So, I increased 3 of my commander stats. Yes, it wasn't much, but when you have a small account, you're not going to be it's not going to be a huge increase every time you mess with your gear. So I hope that answers some questions about what you're looking for, okay, and how you want to do the gear. Yes, some of these pieces aren't best in slot for my commanders, but again, you work with what you got. So, as always, I'm going to say, make the most out of what you got. Have a great day, guys.